Hi, I'm Sharon Pederson and I'm here to show you some tips that I've come up with working with one of my favorite tools, the Quilt Go Cutter. The first thing I did when I got my Rose of Sharon die was I wanted to make a little guide that would show me where each of the shapes was on the die and also how big they were so that I could cut fabric the appropriate size. So I took 2 pieces of freezer paper, put them shiny side together, and ironed them together. So that gives me a fairly sturdy template material. I then covered my die with the 2 pieces of freezer paper that were already ironed together, and I just ran them through my cutter. And then I love the way this works, all of these lovely shapes, which I kept actually because they're useful sometimes when you're tracing things. But what it gave me, of course, was the position of the shapes, and then I could measure them and put the sizes on them. But it also occurred to me when I got my die from Quilt that it would be helpful if I could see where the blades were, because it's fairly difficult to see. So I took my magic marker, my little Sharpie pen here, and I very carefully marked right on the foam that covers the blades where each of the shapes was. And this became very, very helpful when I was cutting multiple copies of one particular shape. So, for instance, when I was doing many of these little tiny blossoms here. As a matter of fact, I made 900 of these little tiny blossoms, and I did it all in one day, and I did it using this die. So not only did I want to see where the blades were, so they were marked with the Sharpie pen, but I also wanted to make sure that when I put the fabric over that little tiny spot, I could see exactly where the fabric was supposed to go. So I simply used this lovely 1/4-inch masking tape, which quilters have used for years to find their 1/4-inch seam or whatever. So you can easily mask it off, okay, so that you know exactly where to put your fabric if you are cutting multiple copies of one or multiple blossoms of one size. So now when I measure my fabric, put the fusible web on the back, because with this particular project I was working on, all of the blossoms were fused. So I cut my fabric with the fusible web attached to it, and then folded and laid it on top of the die. So I knew it had to go right there. And then I put the cover on it, which has still got all of these fun shapes here, so we'll just slide those off. Make sure I get this right in position where I want it to be. Cover it with the cover, and again, run it through. And I have my 4 lovely little blossoms, okay, all ready to go. Whoops, making a mess here. So making it easy for you to cut your shapes, right? Beautiful little blossoms here. Making it easy for you to know where exactly to put the fabric. The masking tape trick and the Sharpie pen trick is going to make it much easier for you. Hope you enjoyed that.